Welcome to Spill the Trauma, Keep the Drama. I'm your host, Kayla. As always, before we get into it, I just want to remind you guys I'm not a licensed professional. If you need help finding a licensed professional, hit me up in my DMs. I can help you find resources. My handle is Spill the Trauma, Keep the Drama on Insta, TikTok, and wherever you listen to me. Quick disclaimer for the guys. I know I say things that can be triggering, but this is not an attack on men. It's an intervention, basically. I challenge you to just listen to this episode and be open-minded. Listen with an open heart. Happy late Women's Month! So this episode is being recorded during Women's Month, so it counts. I'm just a girl and I low-key forgot, and the girl math didn't math this time, so forgive me. But this is a special episode for Women's Month and for all my girlies. Growing up, I was surrounded by boys. I grew up with my mom's side of the family, and I was always the only girl. I have 3 younger brothers, and my only uncle on this side has 5 boys. So growing up, my grandma's number one rule was don't talk to boys. And that was super confusing in itself, because how am I gonna avoid half the population, but also how am I gonna avoid the entire household and everyone at all family gatherings? Now that I'm older, I get why my grandma was being so protective, and I will 100% always choose a bear. But back then, I thought femininity was just being girly, but I've learned it's so much more. And men, I'm not trying to attack you guys or come at you or whatever, but it's just mind-boggling that we're in 2025 and so many women are getting their rights taken away still. We're still scared of not being able to use our body how we like, or just being told that we're too emotional or we're not deserving because we're women. So many men still believe that women are emotional and weak. And that's straight up a lie. Let's get into why that lie still exists. I believe it goes all the way back to the first story that we're taught in Sunday school, Adam and Eve. Yo, that story pisses me off now, because every single month when I'm getting my monthly friend, some man in my life will be like, the reason why you're bleeding is because Eve took the apple. First of all, I don't even believe that Eve took the apple, because tell me how we're taught that we're innately supposed to be gatherers, and biologically we're supposed to be the ones who know poison and good from bad. You're gonna sit here and tell me that Eve couldn't bear the temptation of an apple? No, I don't think so. I think that Adam took a bite of the apple, realized what he did, got scared, lied, and then gaslit everyone. That tracks and makes way more sense than Eve not being able to resist an apple. And while we're here on the subject, men, I just want you to know that it is so frustrating when you guys say anything, not only you guys bringing up this story every single month, also just you guys talking about periods at all. Unless you're giving me a hot pack or chocolate or something to help, please stay away from me when I'm bleeding, because you don't get it and you won't get it. Not to be harsh, because you guys say dumb things. You guys don't approach anything with empathy. You just say things, and it's just more frustrating than helpful. And then you wonder why we're so mad at you. And look, I'm not trying to pick fights. This is kind of a rant, but also y'all are the fastest to call us emotional and call us delusional and all these things. You guys do the same things and it's normalized. We're emotional and whatever over things, and we get made fun of for it. But you guys will cry and scream at a game or a race or whatever, and that's totally okay. But if we get too excited over a boy band or whatever, there's so many double standards for everything, and you guys are the biggest hypocrites. Double standards are literally everywhere, and they've been everywhere for me since I was little, because like I said, I grew up around all boys. I was always left out of everything, and still till this day. I'm 26 years old and way over the drinking limit age, but still at parties and things, my cousins monitor me and babysit me like I'm 12 when it comes to drinking and stuff. Meanwhile, I have a boy cousin in the same family who is 16 and they're like, yeah, let's do shots. Since I was 18, they're always like going on boys things and like doing boys trips. Like now I don't care anymore, but like I'll admit it used to hurt a lot. I remember getting genuinely upset with one of my cousins right after my grandma passed, and I yelled at him and I was like, yo, because as usual, all the boys got together and went to a bar when right after my grandma passed to grieve, right? And they didn't invite me, and I was so livid. I was like, how are you guys all, I'm going through the same thing as you. How are you guys leaving me out still? Things like that drive me insane. And it's double standards for everything. You guys can get away with anything and do anything. Oh, and don't get me started. You guys, men being dads is like, you guys think you deserve a trophy. Guys doing housework or whatever, you think you are doing the most. But if a girl does the same thing, there's no recognition, no appreciation. You're like, oh, that's just your job. But like that's why we get so upset, and that's why we get so mad. And God forbid we do get emotional and do show that we're upset or like it's too much. And even that is like treated as a joke. It's like such a joke to be emotional, but it's not. Being emotional is not a bad thing. Emotions aren't weakness. They're data. Emotions tell us when things are unfair, when we're being lied to, and when we need to fight. Emotions are so important. Not only are we made fun of for being too emotional and shamed for having emotions, but we're also shamed about sexuality. And it's so confusing as like growing up as a little girl, because if you have sex, you're a slut. If you're a virgin, you're a prude. There's like situations where you feel like you just can't win just because you're a girl and you're existing. And so being told so many different things and not ever feeling like you're good enough because you're being thrown so many different messages is so overwhelming. So while I was being told by grandma to stay away from all boys, once my parents split up, my birth giver decided to parade different men into our lives every other month. And while now that I'm older, I can appreciate the nuances of motherhood and how moms are people too. They have needs as well as everyone else. Growing up with that was difficult and was confusing because she didn't choose good men. She tended to attract men that would play games with her, and like they would break up and get together and break up and get together again. And that was the only role model I had for relationships besides my grandparents. And my grandparents' relationship is so unhealthy. We can definitely get into that in another episode. But I never had good role models when it came to love or anything like that. So not to like slut shame her, although I have slut shamed her. It's difficult for me to forgive her because of the impact that her actions have had on my brothers and I. And I just feel that she's very selfish and self-centered and didn't really think about us when she made these decisions and was doing all of this. And like as a parent, I think you should consider your kids' feelings, because like they didn't ask for this. They didn't ask to be here, and you're just throwing them into these uncomfortable situations. And not only that, but she also not only a bad role model for me when it comes to men, but also to my brothers, because my brothers don't, well, I can't really speak for the younger two, but the oldest is a little Andrew Tate follower, and he has no respect for women. And like the girls that he did talk to, the way he spoke to them, I was just like disgusted by it. And then if I ever told him anything or like tried to talk to him about it, he would tell me to shut the fuck up. So like she literally made like a mini Andrew Tate, and I can't forgive her for that. It also gave me such a complex like back in middle school and like the very beginning of high school, where I felt so kind of like threatened and kind of just like disgusted by any woman that was like embracing sexuality, because I was like in my head that like everything's just wrong. And I remember watching the Beyonce halftime show and feeling and thinking like, oh my God, what a whore. Like, why is she like showing all of her body off like that? How could she? But now I can like look and watch and I'm like, God damn, she like looked hot. And I'm so grateful that I like grew out of that judgy, pick me vibe. I'm so glad that I grew out of that, but like she just made me feel like anything sexual was wrong and what she was doing was wrong. So anyone that was doing what she was doing was also wrong in my like 12-year-old head. Really, the only time that she ever acknowledged femininity or being in her feminine was when she was able to use it systematically to her advantage. So she would instigate arguments and then call the cops and cry weak women. Or to get attention from anyone that would look her way, she would cry, life is so hard, everything's so difficult, I'm a single mom of 4 kids. Mind you, I was doing all the like watching the kids and my grandma was doing all the cooking. So like, what are you actually doing? You're like going to work, boo-hoo, you have a job, the fuck? So yeah, she is one of those women that cry wolf, and she's also, I like really can't forgive her for the things that she's done and the things that she does, because she makes it so much harder for the rest of us, for women who are in actual domestic violent relationships and need help and seek help. Calling people don't believe them because of women like her, and I really can't fucking stand that. I can't emphasize this enough like I did in the last episode. Her and my grandma are such opposites. My grandparents' generation, like all 4 of my grandparents are like this. Both grandpas were breadwinners and they brought home all the money, but they would have never been able to do it without my grandmas. And my grandma did all the cooking, all the cleaning. She took care of the kids. She did the dry cleaning. She did all the chores, all the everything without blinking an eye. And she made it look easy and she had a job. My grandma was a strong woman. She is my favorite person that there ever was. My birth giver literally showed me everything not to be in a woman. I digress on the personal rant. Do you guys ever wonder why there's all these lies and boxes that we're put into for the way that we exist? I think it's fear of feminine power, because if guys can continue to say that we're too much or we're too slutty, too prudish, to whatever they feel like saying we're in the moment, that just keeps giving them power over us. It's a system that rewards women for playing victim and punishes us for being powerful. When you dismiss femininity as less than, you're playing the same game that tells you to man up and suffer in silence. And we're all losing. Men, you guys need to understand that women are dealing with a lot that you don't see. We're dealing with biology, which, like I said, period. There's literally 1 week out of the month for most girls that we feel normal, that we feel okay. The rest of the week, do you know how irritating it is to go from week to week and feel a different thing every single week and not be able to control your hormones or anything like that? Like, there's so many things. And then like, not only that, but like childbirth is super difficult, but pregnancy in itself is crazy. I have so much sympathy and empathy for pregnant women, because growing up I was told the lie that being pregnant is this like magical amazing thing, that it's like this pregnancy glow and it's all love and like happiness and like whatever. I've seen pregnant people now, and that is not the fucking case for most women. Pregnancy fucking sucks, and all you guys have to do is fucking jack off, and that's your piece in the whole equation, right? Women deal with morning sickness, women deal with pain, different pains in their bodies. They can't sleep, they can't eat. And then not only that, but like you're on this like timer to get pregnant, and you guys don't have to deal with that. You fucking get to jack off until you're like old. We don't have that luxury, and we're on this time clock, and we're told that after 30 we're like worthless. It's such a shitty feeling to like feel like just by existing and aging you're losing your worth. But men on the other hand are like gaining worth. You guys are idiots until you're like 30 something. Not only do we have this constant battle with biology, but we're also dealing with women who are putting us backwards, like my birth giver. Elders who either won't talk about any of the shit that I'm talking about right now because they have the mindset of just deal with it. You can't just deal with shit like this, because that's why we're still stuck in the things that we're stuck in. We have to bring attention and talk about this stuff so we can fix the goddamn problems. The one thing that has been my solace through the anxiety and stress and frustrations of being a woman is girlhood and sisterhood. Girlhood has shown me so much strength and given me such joy. It's finding another drunk girl in the bathroom and becoming insta besties. Going down rabbit holes and stalking randoms for your bestie because you're an FBI agent. It's so many things. It's like going back to old conversations and like looking at the gossip from back then and like just laughing about it. Girlhood and sisterhood are so special and magical because like they're moments that like you remember and share, and it makes you feel so safe and so seen and so loved and cared for. And we're dead ass like roasting each other half the time, but we're also just having so much fun, being free, being bubbly, like dancing and like just being like in our element, and it's so magical, and I fucking love being a girl. And not only that, but finding sisters outside of my family has been so tremendously important to me. My older cousin finally got married, and I'm so grateful to finally have an older sister that I could talk to about stuff that I was never able to talk to about. And then my sisters from school, I am so eternally grateful to have those girlfriend relationships because they are the most important relationships in my life. Just being able to be a girl and be yourself authentically and being able to be without stressing. And we vent to each other, we vent to each other, we shop together, we talk about everything and anything with no judgment. And to have that security and feeling in another person is so magical and so incredible. And I am eternally grateful for all of my sisters and all girls that are out there that are girls. I know some guys like think we're annoying, but it's the fact that like when we are together and we are with each other, that doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Like when I'm with my girls and a guy calls me annoying, don't give a fuck at all, because I feel so powerful. I feel so loved and so cared for and so in my element when I'm with other girls. Girlhood and womanhood are so special and magical because we deal with all of this shit. We deal with the biology, with the females that like don't give a fuck about us. We deal with the men that don't give a fuck about us. And we like take all of that stress and that rage and that all of that garbage and bullshit. We're still empathetic beings. We're still loving beings. We're still fucking caring, so strong, and we go through the most, but we're still happy and loving and caring. And I think that's like the true meaning of being a woman, is going through all this shit but still coming out strong. But men, don't feel too left out. The patriarchy wants us divided. They want us to be divided and they want us to fight, so they have control over all of us. That's been it forever. Girls are, like I said, we're strong and we get through shit. We're a goddamn army. Men, you can be a part of this. It's not like an exclusive club. We're so inclusive. Be a part of this. Real strength isn't silencing women. It's amplifying us. It's saying, I see what you're carrying. Let me help. That's the future that we're fighting for. One where feminine isn't an insult, and where masculine isn't a cage, and where all of us can finally put down the weight that we've been carrying for centuries. So men, here's your homework. Notice your language when you're calling us crazy or dramatic or too sensitive or too emotional. Would you be saying the same thing if your boy was exhibiting the same behavior? Probably not. The second assignment I have for you is credit the woman who built you. Your moms, your grandmas, your aunts, your teachers, your partner. Say it out loud. The next time you hear a woman say, "This hurts," don't debate her, listen. And to my sisters out there, tag a woman who's your armor. The world is heavy, but we're stronger. Thank you guys for listening to another episode. I hope you enjoyed. I am really enjoying making these. It's a lot of fun. This week, if you can, comment your favorite girly pop song right now. My favorite at the moment is that I like can't stop playing is Pink Pony Club by Chappell Roan, and like whenever I'm like feeling gross or whatever, I just put that song on and I feel like amazing again. But yeah, let me know what you guys are listening to because I need some more girl anthems. But yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying, and I can't wait till next week when we spill more trauma.